Welcome to Once Upon a Stitch Nook and my desk where the creativity happens. We're going to do the tutorial for how to make the vine for the Cottage vine collection. And we're going to be working this up separately so you can then lay it over and apply it as you like to your piece. Now, if you have either want to just make it a long stretch of a piece or kind of have something in mind, you make it to that length. Or if you want to have a idea of exactly how much you need, because it works front to back, so that you would have to undo it in order to shorten or lengthen it. What you can do is take your piece and use, of course, a tape measure, but since it doesn't curve too easily, what I would do is drape a strip of yarn over your garment the way you want it to lay, and then measure that strip using your tape so you know how long you need to work up your vine. All that being said, let's get into how to do the vine. I am using the Yarn Bee Yarntopia yarn in the color Ocean. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter hook. I also recommend a 4 millimeter hook, but I don't have that on me right now. This was done with a 4 millimeter, so you can see that. But yeah, let's get into it. All right, we're going to start with making our chain. So I'm going to make a chain of 12 to start. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you can, if you want your leaves to be paced out equally, you can keep repeating in 12s. That's why I did in the other one. But this one I'm going to show you how to off-pace your leaves a little bit more. But for now, you've done your 12 chains. Now chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 2, 4, 5. I've done 5. So now you're going to go back into the 5th stitch from your hook and do a treble crochet into that chain. So 2, 4, 5. You're going to work a treble crochet into that stitch. Then you're going to do another treble crochet into that stitch. I'm sorry, that chain. Then you'll chain 3 and slip stitch back into the top of the treble crochet. Then you'll do another treble crochet into that same chain. And then you'll chain 4 and slip stitch back into that chain. And so this is our leaf, if you can see that there. And now you can either chain 12 again if you want your pacing to be even. If you want to diversify it, we're going to now do 20. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And keep in mind, you don't want your chains to be too tight because we're going to work into them later. Now, whoops, I'm going to redo that one. Now we're going to make a leaf again. So the leaf is 1 chain that we're going to work into plus 4, so a total of 5. Then we're going to treble crochet back into the 5th from hook. Treble crochet twice into that chain. Like so. Chain 3. Slip stitch back into that treble crochet. Treble crochet again into that chain, like so, and then we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch into the chain. And that rounds out our, what's it called, leaf. Then you're going to now chain 12. You're going to alternate between the 12 and the 20. 3, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then make another leaf. And you're going to keep building this up, alternating with the chain lengths, or you can paste them evenly if you'd like. That is up to you. And then making a leaf, and then continuing with the chain alterations for as long as you desire your vine to be. So I'm going to do one more leaf with you. Okay. 2, 4. I'm going to do my 2 treble crochets, chain 3, slip stitch, treble crochet once more, and then chain 4 and slip stitch, and then I'll just continue. Alright, and you'll want to end on a leaf, so whichever repeat you end on the chain, just end on your leaf. Now, we are going to be working our way back, so I have the length I want, so here is my worked up yarn with the leaves, so they're mostly going to be facing one side, and now we're going to go back over it and build up the leaves for the other side. So now we finished our leaf, and now we're going to work backwards, and I like to put my leaves about in the middle between them, but you can kind of place them any which way you want. But roughly, we're going to slip stitch into the chains and go backwards. And I like to work into the back of the chains, just so both sides look nice. And since the top of the chains are facing the direction with the leaves here, I find it helps orient them better. So I have that, and I'm going to slip stitch. I did a 12 repeat here, so I'm going to slip stitch 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now you can see I'm kind of at that midpoint, and I'm going to build a leaf. So we're going to do our chain 1, then chain 4, chain 5 total, and build a leaf as usual. So I'm going to work, you can either work, you can work into that bottom chain of the ones we just made, do our 2 treble crochets, chain 3, slip stitch into the top, treble crochet, chain 4, and slip stitch back into the chain. And then for extra security, you can slip stitch back into that same chain that we already did. So here we have that one, and we're going to continue slip stitching. So we're going to slip stitch another 6 to meet up with the next leaf, or if you have the other number at the end, if you have the 20, then you would slip stitch 10, make a leaf, then slip stitch another 10. I'm going to start slip stitching. Whoops, I'm sorry, I meant to work into the back of that one. So I start slip stitching into the next chain. I'm going to slip stitch 10, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so you see that's about the midpoint. Now let's build our leaf. I chain 5, make the leaf as usual. Okay, and then you're going to basically repeat that as you go on. So you're going to slip stitch up till you meet the leaf, and then go, you can go to the midpoint or you can offset them as you like, probably particularly when you get to the longer strip, you can do that. But here you can see how this already offsets it, that we have it closer together here, spaced out here, they'll be closer together here. This one's on the wrong way. So they're roughly meeting the same point. So you're going to just kind of work to the point, build your leaf, keep slip stitching to the point where you'd like the leaf and build it. So again, since we have 12 and 20 chains in between, you can just have those if you want to place them nice and even, or you can just vary it up as you like. So keep working that way all the way to the end. Okay, and when you finished your last leaf here, you should have about 6 left from our beginning chain we made. And then you're just going to slip stitch into the last of them. I like to leave this as the sort of stem, but you can of course add a leaf at the end of this if you want both your sides to have leaves. So that's entirely up to you. But after we do this, we should be finished. And there we go. And so I would just cut that. My scissors went somewhere, so I'm not going to do that just now. But I would cut that, I would knot it, and then just kind of weave it back through the sort of stem part or the vine part. So here you see mine, and then I will do a little demonstration of how I would attach this to my garment. But that is the tutorial. If you're just using this for something else, if you're using it just as a decorative vine, that is how you make the cottage vine. Okay, so here you see I've started my process. So I kind of pinned, I wanted it to start at the bottom here, and so I'm pinning it with just stitch markers and kind of where I want to make sure the curves are most structured to show. So I have about 3 stitch markers, and you see I kind of would keep going. So I'm going to grab another stitch marker and see where do I want this. And this also, make sure you're not twisting your vine so that the leaves are facing the directions you want them to. And you can reinforce that later with when we sew this on. So I'm going to attach this one here, like so. Another stitch marker. Let's see. Now I want it to be going over the sleeve here, over the shoulder. So I think about that, or do I want it a little here? Something like that. You can just kind of keep readjusting, see what you like. I like the idea of having it pinned first instead of doing it by just eyeballing it. But you can, of course, do that as well if you just want to directly start sewing. And then I'll just keep pinning it, draping it back here. So something to note, I won't go into it here, but I would take a tapestry needle. I would thread it with a long thread of this darker green yarn, and I would just kind of go through the vine, securing it in certain places, push it up, secure it, mostly securing it where I want the leaves. And then if I don't want the leaves to be loose, I would push it through a bit of the leaf, secure it at the other end, come back to the vine, and just keep going. So pretty simple. You can kind of use the sewing method you prefer, but that is what I would do. So yeah, that just gives you a little idea of how to attach it and pin it and give it some structure. You can make more vines. You can start building vines off of the existing vine, which I'm considering doing. But yeah, I hope that was helpful in demonstrating both how to make the vine and then how to attach it to your piece.